Following on from the previous two videos, at one point we got to this stage here, and we needed to work out this value, and it turns out to be this times this, and we knew that the limit of this would be 1, and then it took us a while to work this out. So in this video, I'm going to show you an alternative way of doing this, of working out the limits for this. So let's try and work out the limit of this. So in this video we are looking at an alternative way of doing this. So looking at this, remember in the past I've asked you to ingrain this in your mind. Remember this by heart. When you have a limit of this, 1 plus 1 over n to the power of n, and n heads towards infinity, it equals e. And as it turns out, try to ingrain this in your mind. As it turns out, if you have, let's say, a 7 up here, then as n tends to infinity, the limit will be e to the power of 7. So if you have a here, then it will be e to the power of a. We will leave this to another time. I will show you why this is the case. But in the meantime, try to ingrain this in your mind. We are going to make use of this to find out the limit of this. So from here, remember, let y be this thing here, and we're going to try and work out y. So from here, take the reciprocal of both sides. So it would be 1 over this, and then 1 over the whole lot. So that will then take us to here. That will then take us to here. Okay. So the thing is, when you take the reciprocal of this, 1 over this thing here, this whole thing here will then become this. So basically, when you take the reciprocal of this, even though you got an n here, all you need to do is turn these upside down. Here. That's all you need to do. And let me show you why. So from here, take the reciprocal both sides. So it'll be 1 over this, 1 over this. This whole thing here will then become this. So all you need to do is turn it upside down, turn this bit upside down. And here's the reason why. When you don't understand something, try to create a simpler version, just so that you get an understanding of what's going on. So here you've got one thing over another thing to the power of n, and remember, we're taking the reciprocal. So this thing here will become this. So here you've got 1 divided by this thing. Here you've got 1 divided by this thing. That's the same as you getting 1 time multiplying with the reciprocal of this, which would then be this. And then you can rewrite this as this. So you can see that when you take the reciprocal of one thing over another thing, all you need to do is turn the fraction upside down. All you need to do is turn the fraction upside down and keep the n the same. So when you take the reciprocal here, it will then become this thing here. So going back to here, we are trying to find out this. So let's just concentrate on this thing here. Let's just concentrate on this. So from here, take the reciprocal. So this whole thing here will then become this. So all you need to do is switch these two around. So this whole thing here will then become this, and then now rewrite this as n plus 3 and then plus 1. So rewrite this as this thing here. So you've got this thing here. So this will then become 1, and this will become, rewrite this as this. Hang on. Rewrite it as this. So that's your n plus 3, and then you've got another fraction. Basically, break it up. So it will then become this. So now let me think. So now this thing here is 1, and then this stays the same, and then you can see that this is very similar to this. It's very similar to this. You've got your 1 here, and then you've got your 1 over something here. But then rewrite this as remember, just like sine of a bubble is approximately this thing here, if you know this bubble heads towards 0, so for example 3x squared, then this will then become 3x squared. And again, I've asked you to ingrain this in your mind in the past. The point is that if you know this is heading towards 0, then this thing will become this. The point I'm trying to make here is that if you so this is saying if the limit is heading towards 0, if the limit is heading towards infinity, meaning that if this bubble here heads towards infinity at the same rate as this bubble here, then you can say the whole thing equals E. But at the moment you've got this thing here and this thing here. The n is heading towards infinity, but they are heading towards infinity at a different rate. So you need to somehow get them to head towards infinity at the same rate. So somehow you need to do this. Somehow, then you can say that these two bubbles are heading towards infinity at the same rate. But the point is, we are currently here. So let's rewrite this as this. Let's rewrite it as this. So now remember, x to the power of a to the power of b. That's the same as you getting this times this. Well, if you get this times this, it will give you this n here. So we ultimately want to get these two to be the same. We want to get these two bubbles to head towards infinity at the same rate. But at the moment, here's n+3, here's n. So rewrite this thing here as this. So these two are exactly, this and this are exactly the same thing, but just written differently. So now, if you get this times this, it will give you n. It will give you this n here. So these two things are exactly the same, but just written differently. So now looking at this, so this bubble is exactly the same as this bubble. They are both heading towards infinity at the same rate. So you can say this whole thing here is E. Okay, so because this bubble is heading towards infinity, because these two bubbles are heading towards infinity at the same rate, then you can say that even if you have something like this, 1 plus 1 over, let's say 3n to the power of 7, and then to the power of 3n to the power of 7. Because you know these two things are heading towards infinity at the same rate, then you know it equals E. So we know that this whole thing here equals E, and then as n tends towards infinity, this thing here is going to be 1. So it's really E. This whole thing here is going to be E. This thing here is going to be 1. So as n heads towards infinity, this whole thing here will be E to the power of 1. So 1 over y equals E to the power of 1. So therefore y equals 1 over E. So overall, this whole thing here equals 1 over E. The point of this video is really to teach you how to manipulate this. Okay. Yeah. So this is an alternative way of finding out the limit of this. Okay.